Acting's all about listening. What? If you watched my last video, I haven't auditioned for a couple of weeks and I haven't been on set for quite a while. So these are 6 acting tips you can do at home to keep yourself, creatively infused.
1, 2, 3, let's switch this up.
Little honeys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Anastasia, also known as your fave social media girl. If you are new, please don't forget to subscribe, and of course, don't forget to turn on the bell notification button so you know every single time that I post, which is on Fridays. This week, we are going to talk about a few acting tips. They're technically exercises, but I'm not calling them techniques or exercises because I don't want it to be so harsh where it's like, I don't want people to think that these are some things you have to do. These are good acting tips to do when you are not in class, when you are not necessarily booking right now, you're not auditioning, and that's something sort of that I'm going through right now. If you watched my last video, I haven't auditioned for a couple of weeks and I haven't been on set for quite a while. So obviously, naturally, you will start to kind of feel a little bit creatively sort of like dead. You will feel a little just tired. Like even I noticed when I was trying to do my YouTube videos, I was like, okay, what do I want to talk about in acting? But I wasn't feeling inspired because, well, hence I'm not doing that much in acting right now. So these are a few little tips that help me. A lot of people do them as well, so you don't have to do all of them, but they're just different types that work with you, just to kind of keep your juices flowing, to keep the creativity sort of constantly there, and it will help you. So then when you do all of a sudden get an audition, or you are on set, or let's say you get into an acting class, you're not all of a sudden so stiff and you're not so, awkward, and it's like your body doesn't remember what to do. So these are 6 acting tips you can do at home to keep yourself, creatively infused. Learning a monologue, filming it, or learning a scene and filming it. A monologue is obviously much easier to do than a scene because let's say if you live by yourself or you don't have any sort of acting friends in your circle that can come over and help you out, you literally can grab a monologue off of anywhere. You can go to the library and literally get monologue books at the library. If you want, you can buy them off of Amazon. The internet has so many. All you have to do is literally Google a teen monologues, or female teen monologues, blah, blah, blah. Also important to always have 2 monologues on the back burner because you never know. You might, last minute get an audition and they might ask you, bonus, can you have a monologue on hand? And you just pull it out, not a problem. So monologues are great because you could really practice the acting techniques, the acting skills, and just sort of really get into the character, analyze the script, do all that kind of stuff. And then most importantly is you want to record yourself because, for example, I'm sitting here. I never realized how much, as I'm saying this, how much I use my hands when I talk. And it wasn't until I'd watch my videos after and I'm like, oh my God, Anna, you are constantly doing something with your hands. Sometimes doing this in the monologue is too much, it could kind of give off the wrong sort of character, the wrong vibe, and you don't want that. And maybe it's unnecessary to do this, and so you didn't notice it, but in the camera, because it's like a medium close-up, it will really pick up that hair flip so dramatically. So it's important to record yourself because this is how you can watch yourself, learn, and then see, oh yeah, okay, so when I said that line, I didn't mean that line. I was not connected to the work. So it's important to see yourself being recorded because this is how you'll be able to learn the mannerisms that you do. Scene is the same sort of thing. Obviously, a scene is a bit more complex because there is another partner you have. But a scene is great because, anything you're gonna most likely audition for, it's always going to be a scene. Acting's all about listening. It's huge. It's huge about listening. And if you're actively listening constantly to your partner and what your partner is saying, you will literally be an amazing actor. That's just kind of how it works. So with the scene, if you can find an acting friend that wants to work with you, just, you guys can hop on Zoom, or if you can see each other in person and you can work on a scene together and then you can both film it, and you would film it directly like a self-tape style. The other person would stand behind the camera, you'd be watching this way to the camera, and you would be practicing your scene, and then vice versa, you'd switch with your partner, you'd be the reader behind the camera, and then they would be filming the scene. Another really good exercise to do is cold reads. I actually hate doing cold reads. I'm not a cold read fan. I get really nervous with cold reads. I actually tend to overthink when it comes to cold reads. So I don't know if I've ever talked about on my channel about cold reads. I think maybe in one of my videos I've mentioned it. So a cold read is literally reading something cold, meaning you pick it up, you just got it for the first time, you read it, you have maybe 30 seconds to a minute to just sort of be like, aha, okay, what is the tone? Who am I talking to? What's my character? Okay, great. And then you audition straight on the spot with that. Theater is big for doing cold reads. I've had a lot of theater auditions where they do cold reads. It's a good practice to do because it really sets the pressure in. It really kind of trains your brain to sort of analyzing things really quickly, analyzing the scene, analyzing the tone, the character, and they're easy. Pick up any monologue, pick up any scene, done. And literally time yourself 1 minute to read it over, kind of analyze it in your head, and then done, perform it. It's a really great skill to have in your pocket. It's called script analysis. It's really important to practice these things so then you can get better at analyzing scripts. You're going to be doing that all the time in your sort of in this field. You're going to be analyzing scripts for days and days and days. I used to be really bad at analyzing scripts. I used to have a hard time figuring out what the objective is, what my character wants, what's going on. I used to have a really tough time with it. Doing this through COVID, I was able to sort of train myself to really identify the important parts of the scene, and then it makes it obviously easier for me to learn the scene and then do the scene as well. Lots of different ways you can do in terms of analyzing a scene. I did a YouTube video about different types of acting classes that there are. This is where the script analysis would come in. You can do the Stella Adler method, you could do the Stanislavski's method, you could do the Chekhov method, you can do the Uta Hagen method. There's so many different methods you can use when it comes to script analysis. So this is also a great way for you to sort of sit down and research and be okay, what type of method works for me? And you would just literally try each method to each scene and be okay, you know what, Stanislavski's not for me, I don't connect with it, I don't like it. Then you go for Uta Hagen and you're yeah, you know what, Uta Hagen's method, I am down, I dig with it. So this is a great way for you to figure out what method works for you through the script analysis. The fourth sort of acting tip that you can do at home, it's more of a connective exercise. It's feeling the surroundings and practicing sense memory. This is important because a lot of the scenes you will do, sometimes you want to use your sense memory in order to understand what the character is going through. And if that muscle is not trained, or if that muscle is not used to it, or that part of your brain doesn't really know how to connect to that, this is a great way for you to practice this at home, so then when you actually have to do the audition or you're on set, you're not all of a sudden feeling foreign and unnatural to your body. So I have this one written down because it is more of an exercise, so I wanted to make sure I get this all right. So feeling the surroundings is a really simple acting exercise. As the name literally suggests, you're feeling the surroundings. You want to hear the sound that you're hearing or the objects that you touch, and you want to allow your body to have impulses and stimuli from what you are being surrounded with. This is where the listening comes in, because listening is a key aspect of acting. Actually, Morgan Freeman states that acting is all about listening. An actor who's a good listener has a very good chance of being successful in this business. So by listening, you are listening through your senses. So what you will do is you use your eyes to see the surrounding objects, and you'll use your ears to all the sounds that are around you that you hear. You'll use your skin to feel the objects, that kind of stuff. So close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, and sort of just connect and get grounded to the room that you're in. Make sure that you are not wearing socks and shoes or gloves or anything like that, because the whole entire point is that you want to feel you're touching the earth, you're grounded. You can start walking on the floor and you would try to feel the floor, feel the texture under the floor. Is it cold or hot? Is it slippery, dirty? How does your foot walk along the floor? Do you have a hard time? Is it uncomfortable for you? Do you actually feel maybe while you're walking you start to hunch your back? Once you start feeling the floor, you can then focus on your breathing, and then now you can add the sounds from the surroundings. So what are the sounds are you hearing? Right now, if we take a moment, let's hear the sounds in this room. I hear birds. My refrigerator is making a noise it's working. As I am hearing the sounds, I'm allowing it to affect me. How does that make me feel? Do I get nervous hearing my refrigerator sound? Do I enjoy hearing the birds chirping? After that, you can kind of start walking around and touching different things, and how does the texture of each different thing that you're touching feel? You want to give yourself a minute and observe your senses. The more you are sensitive to the senses, the more of a listening actor you are What? It's like almost like a total meditation relaxation exercise, essentially. It really grounds you. It really connects you to the inside of your body. It really connects you to your breathing. I like to do this exercise actually before I'm about to either self-tape an audition or I'm about to learn a scene and like really practice it. I like to do that because it really connects me and it grounds me to my work and to myself. Number 5 is vocal and mouth warm-ups. I have a medical condition with my vocal cords that I did a YouTube video on. So for me, my vocal warm-ups are very important. And for me also are my mouth warm-ups. We're talking like tongue, cheeks, everything all together. I talk really fast, if you have not noticed that on my videos. And sometimes my words almost like kind of slur a little bit. Sometimes I like swallow words in because I'm talking so fast. When I warm up my mouth, like we're talking tongue twisters, like red leather, yellow leather, like that kind of phrases. What is it? Seashell Sally saw seashells by the shore. So I don't remember what it is. I also will like talk like this and I make sure that my whole mouth is action. It really helps to warm everything up. You really start like feeling every single muscle in your jaw and your neck, like you're not numb. Like it's really important to have good diction because when you have good diction, then you can obviously hear everything you're saying and no word is being swallowed. For vocal exercise, like simple things like like really high-pitched sounds that you would not obviously normally do and you kind of sound a little crazy while you're doing them. These are important because it completely opens up all your vocal cords, every vocal range that you have. It clears the mucus, it just clears everything out. I'm actually going to do a video after this one and sort of break down more precisely about exactly like vocal mouth warm-up exercise. I will literally do them with you in the video because these are really good just to have in the back of your pocket, just to kind of get yourself warmed up before you're going on site or before you're doing an audition. And of course, the last one is a vulnerability exercise. So vulnerability is really important because you always want to be vulnerable when you're acting. When you're vulnerable, that means that you are sort of allowing yourself to be open, you're allowing yourself to be seen. And when you're being seen, that's sort of when your authenticity really comes out. It's kind of a modified version of a how do I feel exercise. So what you'll do is you'll imagine, let's say you're going to take the monologue or the scene that you have. And you were talking about a husband. Well, okay, I don't have a husband. I'm not married. I don't know what's it like to be married, let's say, for 10 years. So I may have like, let's say, a harder time relating to this character because being married for 10 years is a different stage in your life. Like that's something different you would, obviously feel. So instead, what I would do is this is where I would imagine a person from my life and I would tell them how I feel about him or her. And it's usually in a monologue style, like it's very personal and you will share your personal life within this person and you'll describe whatever you're describing, but you will still sort of keep it attached to what, let's say, the scene or the monologue requires. So if, let's say, I am, I don't know, wanting a divorce for my 10-year marriage. Okay, well, sucks. I would have to obviously imagine Makita and be like, what is it like if I wanted to break up with him and tell him how I feel and why I would want to break up with him? I don't want to break up with you. I just want to keep that. He's behind the camera. What this exercise does, it really helps you elevate the emotions that you actually may not want to show. And these emotions can be very vulnerable emotions, and it could be very heartbroken, loss of someone, extreme rage or happiness, whatever. Then after, it's really good for you to record your exercise that you just did with the camera. So what happens is that, let's say you do the vulnerable exercise, record yourself talking to, let's say, your partner about how you want to break up, and then do the monologue using that sense memory that you felt, like almost like substituting that feeling, put it in there while you're doing the monologue, and then also record yourself doing the monologue. Then watch the two and see if you were still sort of actively listening and being vulnerable in the monologue the way you were talking about the actual real like life scenario of you breaking up with your person. This will help you sort of see, okay, so during my monologue, I was really not listening. I hid my emotions. I all of a sudden got closed off. I didn't want to be vulnerable. But in the exercise, because it's real life and it actually happened, oh, I had no problem. So this is important because this is the sense memory exercise. It's like substituting the feeling that you need to have for the monologue. You would start off with choosing an emotion that you want to express. Sadness, anger, gratefulness, like happiness, whatever. Choose the person from your life that you would like to speak about this emotion. If you need an emotion, let's say you need to be angry in this monologue. Okay, we'll try to find someone that really angers you all the time. I could name off a few managers at my work. Those people will definitely make me angry, and I will have no problem using an angry emotion onto them. If I want to talk about like being in love and being happy, I would use Nikita as my person. Once you have selected your emotion and the person, what you want to do is imagine that person standing or sitting in front of you and really like imagine the details of this person, their eyes, their hair, their clothes, their smell, like all of it. Really indulge in the whole aspect of it. Once you created that person, tell them how you feel about them. Like, is it a complaint, or is it like you want to express something that you didn't like, or something really exciting happened to you, and this person is always the person that you go to when exciting things happen. And then keep speaking for about 4 to 5 minutes, and just don't stop. Like literally let your heart out, like go on like a word vomit sort of style. And once you feel like you have done that, then that's it. You can just stop, and then you can actually do the real exercise, the real monologue or the scene, using the emotions that you felt speaking to that person, and then put them into your monologue. Honeys, those are my 6 acting tips that you can do for home. These are any level. These could be for beginner, completely beginner, or up to advanced. Like I do them, and I've been acting for a while. It just depends on how much you want to do them, how hardcore you want to get into it. Not all of them will work for you. Some of them will, some of them don't. I just wanted to sort of give you all like a little bit of a mini crash course. Honeys, don't forget to subscribe. Let me know what video you want to see next. Comment below. I love you, honeys. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Anastasia_Pioro. And of course, honeys, have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy. It's getting nice and warm here in Toronto, and it makes me very happy. Mwah. Love you, honeys. Bye. See you next Friday.